Now we'll look for any fixes we can make to finish the heavy push. So this is where we put the icing on the cake. Perhaps go and bring out some more poses or fix poses or even timing. We'll go to a top view and start from there as we've done before. Okay. And let's even double click our arrange slider so we can get the whole animation and render off our first play blast here. Here it is. Great, so the top view looks good. Let's try more of a back view. We'll go back to our perspective and turn our camera around, starting back from the beginning, just to make sure our character is in shot, and render another one off. Here it is. So the back looks pretty good, but we need to fix this. As the hands are coming back, they're intersecting right through the character's midsection, right about through his waist, and we also want to avoid the twinning we're getting. Right now they're landing on the waist at the same time. So those are a few things we can fix up. Let's go ahead and close out our play blast, show our curves, and we'll start with the right arm. We'll also get the right wrist, go into our graph editor, and frame our curves just to see what we're about to tweak. And we'll take this key on frame 89 where the right arm plant, and we'll move it down about 2 frames to the left. So now it's going to plant 2 frames sooner. Okay, and what we also want to do is go to the translate X now of the wrist, or of the arm IK, and make sure that character's hand isn't intersecting with his midsection. So on frame 185, let's go ahead and translate the hand out there. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that motion's a bit too abrupt. Let's take this key on 185 and move it down 1 frame to 184. And we'll also adjust it so that it's out more, and we'll fix the flow too. Let's see how this looks. Okay, so that looks better. Let's hit play. Great. So with that done now, we could go ahead and move on to the left arm. We'll frame its translate X. And let's say at about frame 185, we start to bring that arm out some. Okay, and we'll get a better detailed view on our F curve to see how our motion's looking. Alright, and also on 187, let's translate the arm out there too. Okay, and then we can fix our tangency. Let's see how this looks. Alright, that looks pretty good. We'll hit play and check it out. Alright, great. So with those things now done, let's go back to our back view and render off another play blast just to make sure everything else is fine before we move on to another view. So I want to make sure, again, our character's in shot and start one off. Here it is again. Okay, so our hands look better. Let's go ahead and move on, and we'll move to more of the left side of the character. Let's get it straight on by using that camera tool, and we'll find a nice view to render from and start another one off from about here. Here it is. Okay, this view is also looking pretty good. I think we can fix this left foot some more. For one, so that the knee isn't really intersecting with the crate, and also to speed up the timing at which that foot plants a little bit earlier. Okay, because it feels like it's moving up too slow. Okay, and also notice the right foot as that's coming up. We'll need to fix that pose as it's moving down. Okay, it shouldn't be pointed to the ground as it is right now. So we've got a few things to fix as far as the feet goes. And I think we can even make the right foot plant earlier too. So let's go ahead and work on those things. We'll show our curves, and we can go into our perspective view and start with the left foot. So once we have it selected, let's go to our perspective and graph view, and let's actually start by animating the raised toe of that foot as it's coming up. So it starts to roll up on the raised toe on 35. So let's bring up that pose some more. So it is higher than this key on 59 as it should be. Okay, we can even fix a tangency there. Great, so that's looking better. Now from here, let's go to the Translate Z, and we'll go to where the left foot is up the most, or is further up, and that's from frame 80 to about 191. So we'll take these keys for the Translate Z and let's bring them down. Again, making sure that the character's knee isn't going through the crate. Okay, because it shouldn't be going that far up. Alright, so when we scrub through, notice that's better. Okay, so once we have this now, let's work on making him step a little bit sooner. So we'll take the keys from 73 all the way to 80 and 81. Let's shift select them and move them up so that that first key we have in our selection now lies on frame 70. Let's see how this looks when we hit play. Okay, I think it's getting there. It's just planting too slow. So let's select the keys now from frame 77 to 78, and we'll move it up a few frames so that the first key now lies on 75. Let's see how this looks when we hit play. Alright, that's much better. Great. But of course, when we do this, we'll need to fix the hips and the Translate Y of the upper body. So we'll go to the hips, and let's select our keys, and let's move them up so that that first key there lies on about frame 75. Let's see how this looks. So we'll want to make sure we see our hips and hit play. It looks alright. Let's scrub through slow. Okay, the timing is a little off still here. So we'll just go ahead and select these keys again, and let's move them down just one frame. Let's see how that looks. Great, that's much better. Now we're getting the pop we want. We'll hit play and check it out. Great. So we'll just move on to the upper body, select the Translate Y, and we'll want to take these keys from frame 75 to 85, and let's move them down so that our first key lies on about frame 73 and our last 83. Let's see how the Translate Y looks now when we hit play. Great, much better. Alright, so let's work on that right foot. Get it selected. We can even turn our camera to that side. And first off, let's go to the raised toe. And there, we're going to want to take this key on frame 50 and drop it some so it's lower than this key on frame 131. Let's do that. Okay. And then we'll scrub through. Okay, then we'll need to fix this key on frame 156. So let's bring that down and fix its tangency. Then also fix the tangency on 150 and 131. So it won't be coming up as high there. Let's see how that looks. Okay, that's starting to look much better. And now let's fix the timing so that that right foot plants sooner. We'll just select the keys from frames 150 to about 159 with the foot plants. And let's move them up a few frames. Let's see how that looks, moving our first key to 148. And we'll want to see the upper body too to make sure that the right foot plants and then the upper body starts to come down about then. Great, that's much better. So when we hit play, here's what we get. Awesome. So now our left side's looking good and our right foot's looking good too. Let's go ahead and do a play blast now from the right side and make sure everything is looking good here. Okay, so we'll scrub through. Alright, let's do a play blast from this view. Here's the play blast. Great. So our right side's looking really good. I think just one area we can fix before we call it done and wrap up this heavy push is fixing the right fingers or the right hand so they're not really intersecting with the hips as they are right now. Let's go ahead and close out our play blast, go back to our perspective, show our curves, and just take the right IK handle, control, and in our graph editor, let's adjust a few of our poses so that we're not getting that intersecting as we saw in the play blast. So first off, at around frame 195, let's check out our fingers here. Yeah, they look fine. So we'll move on from here and scrub through. Okay, and I think the major issue was happening at around 129. So we could just take this key and move it down a little bit more and also fix the tangency. Great, so that's much better. Well, with that finished, that actually completes our heavy push. So now we could just go back, find a nice view, and hit play to check it out. Okay, maybe even fix this camera angle. Alright, great. Well, being that this is the last lesson, I'd like to thank you for purchasing this training kit. We went through a ton of information. Besides just how to create the illusion of believable weight, we looked at how to save time when transforming a light action animation into a heavy one by simply modifying our timing of our already existing keys and adding a few poses here and there. We also looked at the importance of storyboarding, okay, and many principles of animation that should be applied in any and all of your projects for a successful end product. Okay, with as much information as was discussed, we do recommend that you go back and review the material and just make sure you've got it all absorbed. Okay, if you have any questions, please feel free to submit a ticket on our help desk system and we'll be sure to take care of that for you. So on behalf of Digital Tutors, take care and keep learning.